Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Madisonville Marine. The beauty of Madisonville Marine, you can make one-stop shopping. If you're looking for a boat, you don't know, well, the family wants a pontoon. Man, I'd like a fishing boat. Then again, we could do a ski boat. Go to Madisonville Marine because they have all those different types of boats. Otherwise, you're going to be going from one boat place to another. Madisonville Marine, biggest selection between Atlanta and Nashville. Go see for yourself. Trust me. Madisonville Marine, Highway 411 North in Madisonville. All right, back with Mike Keith and John Wilkerson. Mike, I'm going to just turn this over to you because there's always been a lot of talk about the timeline of you leaving to go do the Titans thing. John Ward retires. Bob Kessling falls into that slot, takes that slot, and has done very well with it. What is the true story? How did all that come about?
I had been gone from Nashville, or I'd been gone from Knoxville and this job for 1 week. And I'm standing on the practice field. We were in all different places in Nashville at that point because our complex hadn't been built. So I drive out to Bellevue to watch my first Oilers practice.
Still the Oilers.
Still the Oilers. I'm walking out to practice, and David Clymer from the Tennessean stops me. He says, "What do you think about radio in Knoxville?" And I said, "Well, I think radio in Knoxville's fine. I mean, I've been gone literally, a week."
Right.
He says, "You don't know, do you?" And I said, "I don't know what?" And he says, "John Ward is going to announce his retirement tomorrow." Well, I walk onto the practice field, and I sort of stood off by myself, and for the next 2 hours, watched a football practice pretty much in a daze. Because it had been, it was just very shocking.
Yeah.
10 days earlier, I had John Ward on my second to last sports talk show. And now he's announcing a retirement. So, I was able to compose myself some, and I went back to the office, and there's a call on there from the Knoxville News Sentinel. I would guess it was Jimmy Himes still at the time, but I can't remember for sure. And they wanted to know my comment, and did I plan to be a contender
Candidate
for this job? And I'm like, I've just started another job. So I walk in to talk with my boss, who I've met all of 2 times.
Perfect.
And I said, listen, you don't know me, but let me just tell you what's about to happen. I said, John Ward at the University of Tennessee is announcing his retirement. And he said, "Who's John Ward?" He had just moved here from Houston.
Sure, yeah.
And so I explained who John Ward was and why he's a big deal. And I said, my name will be mentioned somewhere in an article about it. I don't know how it'll be mentioned, but it's going to be mentioned. I don't want that to throw you. And I just want to assure you I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
And so then I walked back to my office. I picked up the phone, and I called someone who had worked at the University of Tennessee but had taken a bigger job at another university. And I said, I need you to pass a message back to your friends at UT. And I need you to tell them, please don't call me.
Right.
Don't, just out of respect, I would appreciate it if you don't. Because I knew with where the Titans were at that point, the Oilers, still the Oilers, the PR was so tough on us. If I came out and said, I'm not interested in this job, then it's going to be, oh, he thinks he's too good, and how can you say that, and all this,
Right.
We don't want you anyway,
Yeah.
things of that sort.
Yeah.
So my comment to the News Sentinel was, hey, if the University of Tennessee calls, I certainly will answer the phone, which I would have. I would have certainly answered the phone. But the thing that I knew at that point is that while that job had been my dream job since I was 7, I had taken a job with the Oilers. I had made a commitment to them, and I was not going to be a candidate, and I was going to throw all of my support behind Bob Kessling. If Tennessee had called me and said, hey, we're in a mess, we need you, I certainly would have done that. But I knew because they had Bob, because Bob was going to get the position, even though there was a nationwide search.
Right.
I think we all knew that the nationwide search was going to lead right down here. And Bob was going to get it and was going to do the job and do it well. And so for that reason, I handled it in that way. And I think it worked out for everybody. For myself and for my family, too, the move was a really good thing. I'm 30 years old at that point. I've been in the same space work-wise for 9 years. And I needed a new challenge. And I needed to kind of grow away from just the Vols and the Vol Network a little bit. It was time. So I think it all worked out rather well. But no, I was not a candidate. And then when it was interesting because I've read a lot of speculation about how it all went down, and
Right.
it's interesting.
Well, there are a lot of people that know the inside story that aren't really inside.
Well,
they think they know the inside story.
And I understand. What was really weird is that night, after all that had gone down, I called my wife, who's 4 months pregnant, still living at our house on Bridgewater Road.
Right.
And she's like, "What have you done? What have you done?" And she's listening to Sports Talk, and it's not going well for me on Sports Talk. 10 days earlier, I leave, and it's like, "Oh, we're going to
Don't
miss
leave,
you."
yeah.
And now it's like, "Stay away," because they didn't want John Ward to leave, which I understand. And the most interesting part of John Ward for me, just to share this, is the cool part of the job that I have now is you get to travel all over the country. We go in a day early. So I've gotten to hear Chick Hearn and all kinds of announcers in various sports, baseball announcers. None of them are better than John Ward. I thought I got an education working with him. I had no idea that he was great to me because he was John Ward.
Right.
But when I traveled the country and I heard him compared to other guys, John, he could have worked anywhere. He was that kind of good. We were incredibly lucky.
That's one thing that I want to talk about in the next segment, the art of play-by-play. You guys have both, you love doing the baseball play-by-play. You've done college basketball, you've done football, you've done pro, you've done college, you've done high school, various sports, paintball. No soccer, though.
I have done paintball.
No soccer, though.
But I have done paintball.
Okay, paintball. You've really done paintball?
I've done paintball.
Okay, that may be another segment. But when we come back, I want to talk about the art of play-by-play. What is it that makes someone good at play-by-play? What's the secret? We'll discuss. Come on back on the Sports Source.
From East Tennessee to the Carolinas, no job is too big for Benedict Construction. Patios and decks, custom remodels, even custom homes. With a reputation for excellence, rely on the custom work of Benedict Construction.